everyone, welcome back to Singularity. I've been away for a couple of hours and now I'm coming back to see about this whole situation going on here. So, okay, yes, I got a lot right here. First thing I need is what is real, because this is gonna give me something new, hopefully. So what is reality? Why is there something rather than nothing? Where did the universe come from in the first place? I'm actually building it right now, so that's where it came from. Ooh, metaphysics. I want metaphysics so bad. Okay. I am going to unlock Socratic method, which is the Greek philosopher Socrates taught his students by asking lots of questions and discussing ideas. This Socratic method of truth-finding, rooted in dialogue and debate, is foundational to Western philosophy. Alright. How are these guys going? Alright. Hopefully, these are going up pretty quick now. So hopefully I can get to metaphysics, because I would love to be able to do that. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go look at my other simulations for a bit. Alright, let's see how everything is doing over here. I have so many things here now. Okay. Okay. I will start with these things. Okay. So, endurance hunting. Some predators hunt by stealth, others poison. Some use traps and tricks. Others prefer a more direct approach, outrunning their quarry until their prey. That's not correct how it's written. Until their prey, or the prey, collapses from exhaustion. Okay. I want this dog domestication. I have my dog under my desk and he's very cute. But I want to get upgrades for the Beyond place first. Okay. What do I want here? Aqueduct. Let's go with that. Towns and cities begin to grow, creating the need for easily accessible water. Aqueducts are bridges that overcome obstacles such as ravines and mountains to bring water to civilization from far away. Flight. The Atomic Age. Hang on a second. Is that new? What the heck is the Atomic Age? What? I've never seen it before. Okay. Mud brick. I have an interesting story about mud bricks after I read this. One of the earliest human manufactured building materials. This mix of mud, sand, water, and loam enabled us to build permanent living structures for the first time. Okay, so in my last video, I talked, or maybe it was the one before, I don't remember, but I talked about how my teacher did the whole Dharma Karma thing, but that same teacher had us make a recreation of an invention, and I made a mud brick, because we were learning about, like, Mesopotamia and those early civilizations when they did that. Anyway, silent film. One step further than still photography, now we can capture the image of objects in motion and replay it back for our entertainment. Sure, we can't record sound yet, but it's only a matter of time. That's cool. Okay, I like that they include that. Phonograph. The phonograph allows users to record and replay sounds. Musicians, actors, and public speakers all marvel as their voices travel across the world without them. Nice. Okay, telephone. No need to write a letter. Now we can ring up our friends, family, coworkers, and enemies and speak with them directly, whether they be in our neighborhoods or miles far away. There's atomic age. Oh, that looks... Whoa. That looks interesting. Okay. I'll come back to that. Alright. Pterosaur. Yay. So much mutagen. I love getting all the mutagen. I could hit them with an asteroid right now, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna be nice-ish and wait until there are more of them to hit them with asteroids. Which I guess isn't actually that nice, but I want to get all of their things so they'll be stronger and better after the next asteroid. I'll come back to them. Alright, let's see. Oh, yes. Okay. Saturn. Here we go. Yay! Now it's faster. Now it only takes 20 minutes. That's a huge improvement from what it was before. Know what this other mission is that I'm supposed to be doing, but that I just don't have. I don't know what it is, this Mimas astronomy mission. I don't know. Oh, I'm starting to get a tiny progress bar on collecting Stardust. So that's something. Anyway, yay! Jupiter is done. Okay. Great red spot. Now I can have Jupiter go faster, which is also very nice because now it only takes like 2 minutes. Beesbroix star. 19 light years away. Star luminosity 0.0004. Solar mass is 0.08. Okay. Interesting. I don't know what that does, but I will accept that. I figured out why I couldn't click constellation things before. It's because you have to click a very, very specific part of the constellation thing. Alright. The Jovial Jovian. In the 1910s, English composer Gustav Holst wrote his well-known suite, maybe? The Planets. Each piece in the series represents a different celestial body. Jupiter, the bringer of jollity, is the most famous and popular of these melodies. My mom is in 3 different choirs, and one of them did a version... Oh, it's doing that. One of them did a version of the planets. So that was Interesting. That's how I know that piece of music. I don't remember how it goes at all, but I know she did it. Oh my gosh, it's going quickly now. This is fun. Nice. It's gonna take a while to rank up Ceres and Saturn, and then I'm sure it's gonna take even longer to rank up Titan and Enceladus, but at least that will give me a lot of time to get this Stardust collecting going, because that is gonna take so long. But I also think it's gonna go, like, the thing about this is with these that take so long, but when they finish, they give so much. So it's like, yeah, they take a long time, but it also kind of is a good trade-off, because then when you let that time pass, it happens quickly. Okay. This is increasing quickly. Alright, I'm getting more than 1 billion per second now, which is nice and convenient. I don't know why this particular one feels like it's going so much slower than it used to. It might just be because they're all at such high levels now that they do take a really long time, but for some reason this one just seems so slow now. And I don't understand, because it goes quickly and I'm already at the 10th version of it. So I know it's not slow, but I don't know what it is. The last couple of times I've played it, it just feels very slow. I need to collect fossil things, so I will do that and level things up while I do it. This collecting is going to take so long, but that's okay. I have like 4 different ideas of random topics that I could talk about right now, and I'm trying to decide which one I'm gonna go with first, so I think I'm just gonna go with tattoos. So, for those of you who don't know, I have one tattoo right now, and now that I'm starting talking about this, I realize I have like a lot to say about tattoos. So this might get kind of tangenty, but that's fine, because we're here waiting for lots and lots and lots of fossils to accumulate. So, yeah, I have one tattoo right now, and I got it, exactly 3 weeks before I turned 19. And, so that was a few years ago now, but, one thing that I have to say about them is, like, it's really interesting to me how people... I feel like there are people who have kind of 3 main different attitudes about tattoos in terms of people I've currently interacted with recently. And it's very interesting because I never really, like, put it into this framework until just now. But basically, I've been talking to a couple people, and I guess it's 4 people. There's people who are like, I just want tattoos. I don't care what they are. I don't care whether they're symbolic. I don't care how they look. I don't care, like, who does them or whatever. And, I mean, within that, there's kind of a spectrum of that. I'm sure people are like, I want a reputable, sanitary place to do it. And then there are people who are like, I'm just gonna have my friend put something random on me. But then there are people who are like, I want tattoos, but I want them to be meaningful and symbolic and have a connection to something. And then there are the people who are like, I want tattoos, but I'm not sure what I would get, and I'm kind of not sure, like, it sounds kind of painful. And then there are people who are like, I hate tattoos, and they never will get one, and they are distasteful, and blah, 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 blah. And I've seen so many people in, like, those 4 categories. And then I was thinking about it because I feel like I'm in the category of, I like tattoos if they're symbolic and meaningful, but at the same time, there is also certain types of symbolic tattoos that I would never get. For example, I would never get a matching tattoo with anyone other than a blood relative, or not exactly a blood relative, but like a family relative. My family's a little bit weird because not all of us are related by blood. My sister is adopted. So, actually, my dad and sister and I might be getting a matching tattoo possibly over the summer to represent my dad's mom who died a couple of years ago. And it's interesting because I have one tattoo, but my dad and my sister both don't have any. And my sister's 17, so she can't get one on her own right now, but with my dad signing off on it, she could. But it's interesting because my dad is it's interesting because one of the reasons we haven't gotten it is that we just haven't gotten around to finalizing a design and, like, getting that done, or, like, doing any consultations or anything like that. And then my sister, she really wants it, and she wants to do it with us, but she is, like, nervous about it being painful. And so I was talking to my dad, because I visited my parents for Mother's Day, and I was talking to him, and I was like, if we do get this, I think maybe I should get it done first because I know what I'm doing, and then my sister can see that it's not as scary or, like, uncomfortable as some people might, like, make it out to be. And, like, I know pain is relative and different for different people, but I feel like sometimes people hype it up more than it is. At least that was my experience. And I said, but I think my dad should go last because I don't know how he's gonna react to it, and if he has a bad reaction, it might freak my sister out a little bit. But yeah, basically why I was thinking about tattoos and this whole thing was because I have ADHD and I started thinking about one thing and it got me here, but basically, earlier today I listened to a song that I haven't listened to in years, like probably since middle school. Or maybe early high school. And I was thinking about it because it's like, it's so interesting how music has specific memories associated with it. And I was thinking about that because it's like, the tattoo that I have right now is a song lyric, and it was interesting because a lot of people, when I'm also the kind of person where if I were to get a tattoo, it's something that I want to think about for at least a year, if not more. I don't want to just go out spontaneously and get a tattoo. And so I have a couple that I've been thinking about for a little while. One of them is this one with my dad and my sister, and then there's another one. But one of the things that I think is really interesting is that when I initially talked about wanting to get a tattoo in middle school, when I was probably like 15, I mentioned this lyric that I ultimately ended up getting. And so many people said, like, well, I know you really like the song now, but what if you don't like the song later or something? And it's like, I was thinking about that because it's like, I have not actually listened to this song in a long time. I don't know how long it's been, probably at least a year. But it's meaningful to me because of what it represents and the meaning behind the lyrics, but also the time that this song was really relevant to me. And I had people be like, but what if, like, you outgrow the song or whatever? And it's like, for me, and I know this might be different for other people, but I feel like it's part of what I experienced, and so it's like, even though I don't currently listen to that song a lot, it's still meaningful and it's still sentimental to me. And then another sentimental thing about this particular tattoo is that the font is the same as the title of my first published book, so that makes it even more symbolic, especially because the lyric itself kind of relates to myself as an author and just a person, but especially an author. And so I think it's very interesting, like, the attitude about tattoos and what people think will remain a relevant thing to have tattooed versus what won't. There's another one that I thought about when I was in, like, middle school, but I ultimately didn't get, because it's like that one, it's like, yes, that was a super important, relevant thing to me at the time, but I feel like if I were to get something that represents that, I would get something that's a little bit more subtle than what I originally had thought about for it. Like something more that represents it rather than something that is it, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, like, the tattoo I currently have is from, it's another one of those. It's from Castle in the Sky by DJ Satomi, and it's fairy tales live in me, fables coming from my memory, fantasy is not a crime, find your castle in the sky. And at the time when I originally found this song, this is getting a little bit personal, but I'm just sitting here waiting for fossils, so why not? I was having a difficult time because I'd just been recently diagnosed with autism and ADHD, and school was absolute hell for me. And I was just not very happy mentally, and I was dealing with a lot of stuff, and then people around me didn't really know how to help me with it because The person that diagnosed me didn't really tell us anything about what these conditions were. So it's kind of like trying to figure out everything on my own. And this song was really relevant to me, I guess, because it's basically about, like, living in a fantasy world, kind of. Like, imagining these things that you could do, and that, like, you can write, like, fairy tales live in me. Like, you can make these stories, and they can come from you and be part of you. And that's kind of what I was doing. That's kind of what I do with books that I work on. It's like, I have all of these ideas and fairy tales that, or not necessarily fairy tales, but these stories that I want to write. And so it's relevant to me for that reason. And then also around the same time, there were a lot of people who are like, you like fantasy? Like, that's for kids. To those people, I would say, try reading The Silmarillion. But it's basically like, fantasy is not a crime is really a line I relate to a lot, because it kind of justifies that I can like this thing that I really enjoy, and I don't have to be self-conscious about it, because one of the things also about me is that with being autistic, I have special interests that when I'm interested in a thing, I will go completely into that thing. I will learn every single thing about anything that possibly relates to it, basically. And because of that, I had a lot of people who would mock me, or even not try to mock me, but just kind of make jokes at me about, like, ugh, you're obsessed. And so I became very self-conscious about sharing things that I'm interested in. And, like, even right now in this conversation, I didn't say what the thing was that I was considering the tattoo of, that now I might get something that represents it, but not exactly it, because that is one of my special interests that I feel is very personal, and I am, like, still self-conscious because it's something that people have not reacted, not meanly, but they haven't been like, oh, cool, tell me more. They've been like, oh, you're so obsessed with this. And, like, oh, you're so childish for liking this or whatever. And, first of all, that's mean. Don't do that to people. But second of all, it's like, because of that, I feel like I had a period where I was very uncomfortable about admitting to anyone, including myself, what things I liked, or if there was a thing I liked, I would be very secretive about it. And still to this day, there are certain things where it's like, oh, I will go talk to my parents about this for, like, hours, or my best friend about this for hours, but if I talk to one of my other friends, I'm like, yeah, how's grad school? Like, I'm not gonna talk about this for 2 hours. But so the line, like, fantasy is not a crime, I really connect to, because it was like, at that time, I feel like I needed a justification of, you can like what you like, and that isn't bad. Other people might not like it, other people might, like, make fun of it, or be, like, snarky about whatever it is, but it's ultimately not their opinion about what I like. And so, this is going a lot into, like, backstory more than I was expecting it to, but hey, I warned you it would get tangenty, so yeah. But, like, I think it's just so interesting how people would talk about it as like, oh, you're gonna outgrow this and it's not gonna be relevant anymore. And like, do you really want that permanently on you? And it's like, well, it is permanently there, but even though I'm out of that phase of my life, and I was out of it, even when I got the tattoo, like, that song was the most important to me during middle school, and it's like, I got this after high school, and, like, I was taking college classes and stuff, and, so I think it's just very interesting how, even though it isn't a song that's super relevant to me right now, or it's not a song I listen to a lot right now, it still is relevant, and it still reminds me of, like, these things that I think I need reminders of sometimes, that it's like, it is okay for me to like the things I like, and it is okay for me to have special interests that are maybe more childish than my age, or than most people my age are into, or maybe I have an interest that's much more mature than someone around me, because that has also happened. It's like, it's okay to have interests that are not what people around expect based on your physical gender, or your age, or your appearance, or whatever. And I feel like middle school especially, it's like, it's really bad about that. It's like, you don't wear makeup, and it's like, well, you do wear makeup, and just, kids are so judgmental in general, and there's like so many expectations that everyone has for each other, so I feel like that was definitely more of a thing that I struggled with in middle school, just like the social climate of all that. But it's like, there are still times where it's like, I really, really like this thing, but I also feel like maybe I don't want anyone else to know about it. And it's like, I hear people talk about, like, guilty pleasures as, like, something that they're uncomfortable with people knowing that they enjoy. But the thing is, for me, it never really feels exactly like what that is. It's more just like, I'm not guilty about enjoying it, and I'm not like, oh, I really shouldn't like this. It's more like, I like something, but I'm really vulnerable about opening up to it. And the one thing I will say that I'm not like that about, because it is actually very adultish. I mean, kinda. It is, but it also isn't. It's like, it's something that I feel like more adults would recognize, and I feel like it's more respected than one of my other... Respected. I don't know. I don't know if this is making sense, but one of my special interests that I feel like is more, like, commonly respected as a thing that I also know a ton about, so I can actually hold conversations about it and, like, feel really knowledgeable about, is Tolkien. Like, I mentioned the Silmarillion as my example of, like, a fantasy's not just for kids. But Tolkien became a special interest for me older than I think a lot of people get introduced to it. I feel like a lot of people read The Hobbit as a kid, and I didn't until I was in my 20s. And so I think I was 20 when I first read it, and it, like, instantly became my obsession, and I've read all the books. I'm working on the Silmarillion. It is, oh my gosh, it is definitely interesting trying to read that. But it's like, that's one where I feel like enough people are like, you have to really respect this, and it's like the origin of modern, not the origin, but it's like one of the main pieces of modern fantasy, and it's kind of like this big cultural thing where even if people haven't read it or watched it or whatever media they consumed it, audiobooks or whatever, they know it. They know the name, they know the like titles of the books and stuff. And so it's like that one, I feel like I'm more comfortable being like, oh yeah, I like this. Whereas some of the others, it's like, I could talk for 6 hours about something, but only to my best friend and my parents. I don't know. It's kind of weird. That was very tangenty, but, yeah, it's fun though. Actually, one of the tattoos I am considering possibly getting is, something maybe, possibly, in Tolkien's Elvish. 'Cause that seems cool, and I don't know yet if that's something that I would actually get yet, but that's one of the ones I've been thinking about for, like, 2 years now. Yeah. I need this to go so much faster than it's going. Okay, what next tangenty thing should I talk about? Oh, I guess I could say a geeky Tolkien thing. I don't know how many people who watch my videos have seen Rings of Power, but, I know it's kind of controversial among Tolkien fans, because there are definitely some things that are strange about it in terms of various things. But one thing that I have to say, here's the thing. Overall, I think that it's okay as a show, and the reason I do is because Tolkien's grandson is the consultant for the series. So it's like, someone from his actual family is approving what they're writing as this storyline. And so, overall, I enjoy the show, and I think the mise-en-scène and the way everything looks and all of that is really well done. And I enjoy watching it. I like a lot of the characters. It's very fun. The one thing that I do have to say, and I understand that when you're dealing with time spans of hundreds of years, you can't write that as a show without doing some level of consolidation. But I have to say, and disclaimer, if you have not seen it and are planning to, this is a little bit of a spoiler. I'm not going to include any really major spoilers in what I'm about to say, but basically, the fact that Galadriel's husband is missing weirds me out because, first of all, they never mention his name, and I think that might be because they might not have licensing to his name, which might also explain if they don't have licensing to him. That might be why he's not in it, and they had to, like, make up a reason why he wasn't there. But if you look at the timeline of when the Elven Rings were forged, Galadriel should have a daughter who's about 500 years old by that time. And that is, Arwen's mother from The Lord of the Rings. But the fact that it's just like, I don't know where my husband is. Here's these rings we made. It's like, you're supposed to have a 500-year-old daughter. What is this? And it's probably, I know they only have licensing, I think it's to, like, the appendices of The Lord of the Rings, so they have very limited material to work with in terms of, like, names and events and things that they can actually do stuff with, which I understand. And they're also really limited to the Second Age, which I think is probably why they're not doing much from the Silmarillion or the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings part. And that makes sense, because this is a different story. But I do just find that one detail kind of weird. It's like, why? I feel like it would make more sense if you just don't mention your husband instead of being like, oh, I have one, but he's missing. Because I don't know. It just felt weird. It was really funny, though. I also have to say, there is a specific actor, and I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to give spoilers, but that character, there's a really big plot twist surrounding that character, and if you have watched the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that actor understood the role so well, because it's this thing where it's like, it is this plot twist where it's like kind of a little bit out of nowhere, but then if you go back and watch the episodes leading up to it, you're like, oh my gosh, it was there all along. I could see it, and I just didn't want to, kind of thing. And so when it's revealed, it's like, it doesn't feel like a blindside where they're like completely not acting like that and then suddenly they start acting like that. It's like the signs were there all along, and it's so well done. Also, because that character, there's a very specific line in the last episode, and it is the line that I was watching it with my parents, and when that line happened, I like slammed my computer shut and was like, I need a minute, because the way that this character said that, oh my gosh. That person knew exactly how to deliver that line and exactly the significance of what that line was. And it was so well done. And I've been thinking about it a little bit, because it's recently been announced that Season 2 is coming out in August, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm very curious to see what happens next. But yeah, that's one where it's like, I like it, but I like to analyze what they did wrong compared to the original lore. Because it's like, I want to know what changes they've made and try to kind of understand why. Ooh, that's another whole rant I could get onto. Movie changes from books. I was talking about this with a couple of my classmates recently about what book to movie things we think are done well and what we think is not done well. And also, like, where we can see reasons for what they changed versus what is this director doing. And my biggest example of a what is this director doing moment is from Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which I know a lot of people watched the movie of, and at least in my school when it was in theaters, a ton of people watched it, did not know it's a book series. I have read it, and I have also watched it. And the thing about it for me is it's like, I completely don't understand why they changed the character's ability. Like, in the main, the female lead in the book, her name is Emma, and she uses fire. And then there's a little girl named Olive who levitates. And Olive is like 5 or something in the book. She's very young. And there is a character named Olive in the movie, and they aged her up, which I think is to give her a love interest with another character. So it's like, I can kind of see why they made that change. But what I don't understand is that Olive, the one in the book who's a little girl who levitates, uses fire, and the main character, Emma, who used fire in the book, in the movie is the one who levitates. And I just don't understand the point of reversing them. It's like, maybe they had a reason, but I can't see a reason why they would do that, because they did special effects for both of them. And honestly, I feel like fire would be easier to do for your protagonist than levitation. Maybe they just wanted to do cool special effects with levitation and air stuff, but like, there were definitely some interesting special effects with it. But it's like, if you're going to do both of them, why reverse them? And it's also just like, that's one where the whole ending in the book, it's very serious, and it ends on a pretty somber note. And it almost felt like it was like a mockery in the film, or like it felt like it was like comic relief. It was kind of unserious, and it still had elements of seriousness, but it was also like just not how it happened at all in the book. And they also, and this might have been intentional if they knew they weren't going to make another one, but they completely destroyed any chance of making a sequel movie, because I don't remember exactly how many books are in the series, but it's like 6 or 7 or something. There's like actually quite a few. But the thing about what they did is that the end of the book is basically someone gets captured, and it's this whole thing of that sets up the plot for the next several books of trying to find that person and get them back. And so, because that person was never captured in the movie and is sitting on a tower completely free, contemplating the world at the end of it, it's just like they completely cut off any potential for doing a sequel to that movie. So, I don't know. Speaking of sitting on towers, Divergent. The first movie was good. It was very good, in my opinion. It followed the book really well, and all of that. And then the second one kind of started following the book, and then it quickly went downhill. And then the last one, oh my gosh, they ruined the first movie was so loyal to the book, and then it just went completely plummeting downhill, and I don't understand why they made the choices they did there. Maybe they were like, we can't kill the protagonist, spoiler, but it's also like, that is the entire point of the end of this series, and it prompts other people into action, and it is extremely plot important that that character does not survive the series. And in the end of that franchise, that character that should be dead is sitting on a building having this like deep existential like, and here's the moral of what we learned and the future will improve, and it's like, you're supposed to be dead. I don't know. There are certain films where they make a change from a book where I understand why they did it, and if it's done well, it's fine with me. But if they're just making random changes for no apparent reason, it bothers me. Also, this is new. Random tangent away from my tangent to read this. Ecliptic. The ecliptic is a plane that surrounds the sun that forms an almost... I read this already, I just didn't level it up. Okay. Ooh, that does work. I want this. Anyway, back to movies and book adaptations that are good or bad. One book series that I really like is Beautiful Creatures. And that one is a series of 4 books with 2 spin-off books. And the thing about that one is that, they did make a film adaptation of it, and it's one of the few book-to-movie adaptations that I like the film as much as I like the book series. Or maybe not quite as much, but I still really enjoyed it. And they did make changes, but the changes that they made, I felt were justified. Mostly. They combined 2 characters into one. Which, I feel like probably they just were trying to consolidate the storylines and the budget of hiring actors. So it's like, I can kind of see why they did that. And the characters they combined, it worked. But the thing about that one is they ended the film knowing that it was not going to be a series of films. Even though it's a series of 4 books. And I feel like the way that they did that, in my opinion, they did well, because what they did was they basically they made the ending, the ending was pretty different in a pretty major way to the book, but one of the things that I really liked is that they ended it kind of open-ended, like there was more to the story, which there is if you read the books. But they also included a specific detail that isn't revealed until the end of the 2nd book. But even though this movie mostly only covered material from the 1st book, they included it at the very end, and I honestly really liked that detail. And it's the detail about the color of Lena's eyes. Because that's like a big plot thing. In the books, I think it's explained more than it is in the movies. But it is a very big plot thing about eye color and what that means for these characters. And so having that little detail at the end, I really liked that. I know that movie didn't get very well received in terms of, like, box office success, but it's one that I really like. I feel like this is the 2nd time I've ranted about movies while playing this game. The other one was about bad horror movies on Europa Report. But, oh, another bad horror movie. I don't think this is based on the book. I'm pretty sure it's not. And it's like, I can't even tell if it's a horror movie. It's bad in a way where it's like, I don't know what's happening. And it's not a good way of like, what's happening? I need to figure it out. The tension, oh my gosh. It's like, what? It's 7500. And I don't know if anyone has seen that or is familiar with that. But it's about this, like, it's this airplane and the passengers on it, and randomly some person starts bleeding and then he dies, and it's like, that could be the setup for, like, a good horror movie, but no. For some reason there's a girl who's, like, the entire flight, I'm gonna keep getting up to try and take a pregnancy test on this plane, like, 3 different times? And first of all, why would you choose to do that on a plane? Do you know how much time you have sitting around in airplanes before, or in airports before flights? Like, I know airport bathrooms are chaos, but, like, you're really gonna take a pregnancy test on an airplane? Couldn't you have gone, like, through security and then in your however long you wait for flights, gone and done it there if you're so desperate to do it while you're traveling? I don't know. Like, it was one of those things where it's, like, so confusing to me why she's so desperate to do it there that it's just, like, completely taking me out of any kind of tension in the film. It's just like, why are you doing that? Like, I don't know. And then there were so many places where it was like, okay, there's gonna be a jump scare here. And there's not. And there's gonna be a jump scare here. And there's not. And it's like, okay, is this even a horror movie? Or is this a confuse you so much that you're horrified movie? I don't know. It's hard not to think about it without laughing, because it's like, it just seems like it seems like more of a joke than an actual film, which seems kind of mean, but also it's just like, at the end, like, partway through, they see this other plane that's coming toward them, and there's no plane on the radar, but they see it through the clouds next to them, and then it veers off sideways away from them. And then the very end, it's like they're still flying in this plane, but they turn on the screens of their on the back of their seats, and it's like, oh yeah, flight 7500 went down in whatever ocean it was, and no survivors have been found. And it's just like, okay, but flight 7500 is still flying, and they're all watching this news report that they're crashed. I don't know what's happening. And it was also, I felt like there was unnecessary fan service in it too. It's like, the flight attendants were the stereotypical, like, blonde, super attractive flight attendants, and they, for some reason, were the ones who were like, I don't even know if you can get to the luggage compartment from like, the main part of the plane, but at one point they climb down into the luggage area. It's also like a double-decker plane, so they put the dead passenger on the top of the plane, the, like, upper level, and make all the other passengers come down, which also brings up the plot hole of, you put one person who had one seat in this upper level, and you don't want anyone near the dead body, so how many passengers were in there to begin with? Because apparently now none of them are in that upper level anymore. But also, it's just like, there was so much potential for him to be like a zombie passenger, or for him to have gotten killed by a malevolent whatever that is possessing the plane, or for him to have, I don't know. But he just seems to start choking on blood and die of natural causes, maybe? I don't know. And then, like, the flight attendants go up to check on him at one point, and the music implies jump scare so much. And they're, like, walking up, and he's, like, under a sheet. I don't know where they got that on the plane, but... And, like, you see his hands hanging out from under the blanket with, like, his watch on, and... I don't know, they've, like, spent so much time focusing on that. I don't know why I remember that so much, but then they basically just, like, it's everything implies jump scare, and they pull it back, and it's like, oh, he's just dead, and he's still dead, and why are you up here inspecting him right now? It was one of the first horror movies I ever watched on a service that my friend and I would just, like, we'd be bored and we'd just find random movies when we were, like, middle school age. And it was just, like, we were like, let's watch a horror movie, because they're scary, and that's what cool, like, older kids watch, or whatever thing we were trying to do. And... we watched it, and I remember just being like, is this what a horror movie is? Because this isn't scary at all, it's just confusing. And it really was. It was, like... I still don't know if it was supposed to be scary, or if it was supposed to be so confusing you're left horrified that, like, did I miss something major, that there's actually a plot, or is this just random things thrown together? What other movies should I talk about? Oh, well, speaking of space things, what is that movie called? It had, I don't remember, but it was, I think it's called Passengers, and it was about this, like, colonization ship that was going to another star system, but the cryosleep or whatever they were, pods malfunctioned and a couple people woke up early. That one was interesting because I went to watch it with my dad, and my friend, my dad took us when it came out. I don't remember when that was, but I think I was in early high school or middle school. I had to have been because I was no longer friends with that friend after shortly into high school, so I think it must have been middle school. But we went there, and it was so strange because on one hand I do feel like that movie was pretty good about the science, but it was also really funny because it was the first sci-fi film I had watched in a theater with my dad, and both of us are such astronomy geeks that we were just nitpicking about the smallest things. Like, we would see the star that they were trying to slingshot around, because at one point they're trying to do a slingshot maneuver, and we're just sitting there in the theater, and we get out, and we're like, they made that star the wrong color, and they were too close to it to have actually, if it was really that star, they needed to be farther, and it was just like, that's one of the things is, with my dad and I, like, it's sometimes hard for us to enjoy sci-fi films, especially, like, space ones, without finding things that they should have done differently. One particular thing from that film that I feel should have been quite different than it was there's a part with gravity failure, and basically the ship in that film is designed to basically have these rotating, rotating wheel-like sections of the ship, and the rotation of it is what gives it gravity. And so a big plot hole there is that if you are in outer space and you have a malfunction in the machine that rotates those things, because that was basically what happened that had caused the gravity failure. There's no friction in outer space, so the rotation wouldn't have stopped. It would have just kept going. So the gravity shouldn't have been lost at all in the first place. But the other thing that we were nitpicking about it was, at one point when the gravity fails, people start, or not people, because there was like one person, but this person starts kind of drifting up, like going from walking on the ground to floating, which, yeah, that's how that works. But then, for whatever reason, gets, like, jerked sideways, and then gravity comes back a couple seconds later, and she gets thrown diagonally to the ground. Like, not thrown, but, like, unweightlessed diagonally to the ground. And it's like, okay, first of all, what is this being flung sideways? And also, why is it diagonal? You just drop straight down. I don't know. That movie overall was interesting, but we had these little nitpicks. Now I'm thinking about what other movies I should talk about. Or books. Actually, random advertisement moment. If you like books, I have a channel all about books that is separate from this channel. It's called Reading Realm. It's linked from this channel. And I have started posting more regularly on it recently. So if you want to hear me talk about specific books, I do that there for minutes at a time on the same book, and it varies. Some are like a couple minutes, some are like half an hour, and I'm also probably going to do more in-depth book versus movies, or just other book-related things. So if you're interested, go check that out. Shameless advertising. And that channel I've actually had longer than I had this channel, but I have been much more active on this one, as is obvious by the number of videos, the upload schedule, and the number of views and subscribers I have on this one compared to that one. Currently I have, I believe, almost 1,760 on this channel, and on that other one I have like 70. Saturn just finished. I love it when Saturn finishes because it gets so much at once. What else should I talk about? I need to get so much political philosophy, but I can't even see Ship of Theseus, so I probably can't get that. I want metaphysics. but I don't have enough. My sleep schedule is completely terrible. I feel like that's pretty common for me, but I have a class at 10:30 that is a class that is a 6-hour class because it's Friday, and that's my class I have then. And so I have to do that tomorrow, and it's 2:40 in the morning right now, and I'm recording this, and then I still have to get stuff ready for that class and get ready for bed and everything. But no, I'm here playing this game. I'm gonna record so much over the summer. I've been thinking about that recently because it's like I have a little notebook where I write down all of my video titles so that when I go to upload them, because sometimes I record more than one in between times I upload, I'll keep track of them all and make sure that I don't accidentally forget one or lose one, or make sure I'm uploading them in the right order. And normally I have like 3 or something pre-recorded compared to uploaded, and right now, let me look at this. So I just uploaded this one, and then right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and this one makes 18 that I'm recording right now. So, this is gonna go up quite a while after I initially record it, because I have so many that are pre-recorded. And this is just game recordings. This is not counting, this is not counting. I also have 3 videos planned that are, one is astrophotography, which will probably maybe be up before this one. I'm not sure yet, because we saw the Aurora Borealis in California, which was insane. And then another one, which also might be up before this one. I have 2 vlog style ones. One is the conclusion of my moving and the story about what happened with the whole fire department being called. And then another one that I made because my sister made one similar and wanted me to do the same thing. So I did like a week in my life, or school week technically, because I did Monday to Friday. But yeah. So I have a lot of videos pre-recorded. I'm also struggling right now with instant gratification because I kind of want to just asteroid them right now. But I'm also very close to collecting the last 3 things I need to collect, and maybe I should just wait and do that. But I also want to asteroid them and just start over. I think I will be responsible and actually finish them. I only need 1 more for that, and then 2 more for the other, and then I need to finish collecting everything. But this is going so slowly, and I don't know why it feels so slow. I don't know if people watching it are getting the same feeling. I feel like I've been having weird interpretations of a couple of things in recordings. I was recording Stardew Valley the other day, And I was saying in the video, like, does it seem really dark? I don't know what it was, but for some reason on that particular day, and I don't even think it was different, it just looked darker than I felt like it should be for the time of day that it was. I don't know what was going on. And now this one seems really slow, even though I know in a recent recording I was like, it's going so fast. Anyway, locomotives, the engine that pulls train cars. Locomotives facilitate mass travel faster than ever before. We're building more and more complex engines to power even bigger vehicles. Nice, good to know. These are going very fast, but I need so much of them now that they don't feel fast at all. I have so many turtles. I love the turtles so much. I'm gonna look at the firework guys going over here. It would be funny if all of these things did that. Like, you just have, like, fireworks and crocodiles and humans and whatever else is that I have exploding out of a firework and then going to sit normally how they should be. I don't know. That would be weird. Alright. It looks like so much, but it's not having much effect at this stage. This is still barely any progress bar. This is gonna take so long. I'm not even... Oh my gosh. I still don't know what this Mima's astronomy mission is, because these are astronomy missions. So I feel like it should be something about that, but it's not, and I don't see anything by that name. I don't know what that is. I need answers. This one goes so slow. I want to get it speeding up so much, because once I do, that will be so good. But I also can't yet. Also, it's gonna take so long to get Enceladus, because this is Enceladus, and it needs the Stardust, which is so slow, because I think I'm like 1% there right now, so it's barely anything. That made it go up a little bit, but still not very much. I feel like I should level up some other things. I'll level up IO while it's doing this. I'm having that dilemma again of I want to save to be able to upgrade the things that I really need to upgrade, but at the same time, the more things I upgrade that aren't those, the more I'll earn in like idle earnings while I'm not here. I don't know. There we go. That's making a lot more at once, so I'll leave that that way. I don't think I'll be able to get metaphysics because I don't have enough of anything. But I will at least read it. The meaning beyond the physical, metaphysics studies questions of reality, identity, being, causality, and possibility. It explores the relationship of mind to matter and the nature of existence. Nice. I kind of want to get to 150. I will probably drop down before I am able to have this thing time out, but that might be interesting. I don't know. I'm not too upset with my current position. This is way higher than I was expecting to be. And I would still get cool things, so that's honestly okay with me. Because then I could afford one of the, what are they called? The guys that drift around on the edges. Like this thing. The little unknown thingies. Why does it feel like this is going so slow? It still feels like that, and I don't know why. It might just be because the other ones are going so fast now. And they're like in the quadrillions now, and so for this to be like slowly earning millions and billions might seem slow in comparison. But I also feel like this particular simulation was earning faster last time, which is weird because I have more things earning now than I used to. I don't know. So slow. The clicking is slow too. Well, compared to what I'm getting in Beyond, everything is slow right now. I'm so close to finishing them. I need to just do it and not just asteroid them, which I kind of want to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be good and responsible and use my asteroids sparingly. after collecting all of the useful things from them first. That's so mean. It's like, I could just put you out of my your misery, not mine, your misery right now, and just, you know, asteroid you. But no, I'm gonna collect extra of you so that I can get more things to make you give me fossils faster. And then I'm going to asteroid you. Hi, Cosmos. He's being very floppy and tired under the desk and snoring. I wonder what the next big sudden extinction event is going to be. Because there's currently kind of an extinction event happening that's mostly caused by humans. But it's like, even though it's happening at a much faster rate than extinction should be happening, it's still gradual over years, not like sudden asteroid, the end. But it's like, huh. I wonder what the next thing like that would be. Yay! I finished one of them. Yay! Ooh, okay, I can level this up. This should go faster, or more now. Perfect. Still seems so slow. I don't know what it is. That one is moving very fast, though. I remember in, what was it, 6th grade? Something like that. Everyone decided that the world was ending, and apparently, like, adults were talking about it too. I don't know. I wasn't involved with adult discussions about the end of the world at the time. I'm not involved in those discussions now either. I realize saying at that time might have made that unclear. But I never was or have been involved in the world is ending adult discussions. However, I do have to say, it was so weird when that occurred because we were in 6th grade and there were literally people who were like, we need to get married. And I don't know. I feel like as a 6th grader, even if the world is gonna end, that's kind of a weird priority to have. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I was never interested in that when I was in 6th grade. I'm still not really that interested in that. I, in Stardew Valley, just got married, and even just saying, like, oh, I'm married, it sounds so weird, even if it's just in a game. Like, it's a game, but it's, like, being like, oh, yeah, I'm married. It's like, whoa, that's not something that feels natural to say. And obviously the people that were the ones who were like, the world's ending, we need to get married, were the ones who, as soon as we got to middle school, were like hooking up with people, and even high school people who were older than them and stuff. Which, I know like the age difference high school to middle school isn't that big, but when you are in those grades, it feels like a lot. Yeah. This is an exciting position. It kind of makes me wonder about the people whose main priority in like really young grades, like 6th grade, their main priority is to get married or to have a relationship. Because I remember even in like 5th grade, there were people who are like, I need a boyfriend and I want to date someone. And at that time I was like, I want to see who can like do the coolest gymnastics trick or like play tag on the climbing structure even though we're not supposed to, like. And then there were people in my classes who were like, I need a boyfriend, and it's like, why? You're 11. And then there was the person who was really, really, really adamant that they did not want a boyfriend. And everyone thought they were weird for it. And then one person in particular mocked them for it all the time. And then in high school, turns out the reason the first one didn't want a boyfriend was because she was lesbian, and the one who mocked her so much for not wanting a boyfriend in elementary school ended up being her girlfriend for a while. I don't know. People are weird. Yeah. I feel like part of why I think it's so weird is maybe because I'm autistic. But also, I learned an interesting thing about autism. And I'm sure this doesn't apply to everyone who's autistic, because I feel like nothing about autism can apply to every single person who's autistic. But apparently a lot of autistic people, actually are really resistant to advertising and peer pressure compared to allistic people, because we don't really fit into social norms and society anyway. And so when we see advertising or something, it doesn't really have that compelling effect as much as it might for someone who isn't autistic. And I don't know the like science behind it, but since learning that, I've noticed that I think it is true, for me at least, in most cases, to the point of being actually a little bit extreme, where I've started feeling like there are certain ads I get all the time for certain like insurance company type ads, and it's gotten to a point where it's like, I am going to use whatever insurance company I never see an ad for, because there are so many ads that I'm like, you're just annoying. Why would I want you? So it's like, and the thing is, the insurance that my parents and I have, I'm pretty sure I have never seen an ad for. And so it's like, perfect, because all these other ones with their stupid, weird skits that are supposed to be funny but are not, like, I don't have to go to them. I'll go to the one that doesn't harass me with ads. The one thing I will say sometimes, though, is if I see advertising for food that I already know I really like, or for a restaurant, even if it's not the specific food I like from the restaurant, if I see it, I'll be like, oh, I do kind of want that. Even though some of the things I get ads for from restaurants are things that I don't want to eat at all, but that restaurant happens to have a thing that I do like. I think the biggest example of that is Carl's Jr., and I haven't had that in months, but I get ads for it sometimes, and it's for these new, like, I don't know what they are, but there have been various throughout the years with, like, guacamole or onion rings or whatever it is on it, and I'm like, nah, I will stick to my plain, well, not plain, but my basic ingredients that I get on every hamburger from every place that has hamburgers, except for McDonald's. That's an exception. I get a different thing there. Like, I'll get my basic ingredients. I don't want your weird triple Texas bacon, onion ring, avocado, whatever it is. But sometimes when I do see ads for those weird, like, things, but it's from a restaurant that I do like, I still am like, oh, I haven't thought about this restaurant in a while and I kind of want it. But yeah, I don't typically get affected as much by advertising, I think, as some other people I know. One thing that I've never been interested in from a TV ad or anything like that is jewelry. And that's not to say I don't like jewelry. I own plenty of jewelry, but it's like I've never seen a jewelry ad and been like, I need to go buy jewelry. I've been in this voiceover class and we talk about, like, different types of advertising voice. Like, if you think about a jewelry advertisement versus, like, a car advertisement, they're gonna be very different. And now I really want to see someone do a car salesman jewelry advertisement. Oh, speaking of cars and jewelry, which are arguably stereotypically things that kind of have gender roles associated with them, I had to go to the auto parts store a month ago with my mom, and we went in for a couple things because I needed something and she also needed something. And, the little car, like, hanging air fresheners, whatever those things are, I never use those, so I don't know exactly. It was so clearly gendered, which is so weird to me that scents are gendered. But it was so funny because I was making fun of it with my mom. I was like, coconut dream, like ocean sunset, and then it's just like new car smell and pure steel. And we were just like laughing at it, because it's like, first of all, pure steel. What is that even supposed to smell like? At least the coconut one actually says something it's supposed to smell like. But it was just so funny that it's just like, why are these so obviously gendered? Like, why not just have, like, coconut, or ocean, or pine tree, not, like, very masculine pine tree, and very feminine ocean breeze, and very masculine steel. I don't even know what steel as an air freshener would smell like. I also feel like some people might use those just because they like the smells of them, but I also feel like most of the people that I have encountered who use those in their cars, it's because their cars stink and they're just trying to cover it up. It's not because they like it, they're just trying to hide something worse. Anyway. It's weird what things are marketed to specific genders or not. Because most of the things that are, like, overly gendered aren't even gendered products. Like, I've seen an advertisement that's more overly feminized or female targeted in the way that it's designed to look and stuff for, like, a fast food place. I don't remember what one it was, but I know that it was. Then I've seen for, like, menstrual product ads. And that might just be because the people making menstrual product ads already know that females are gonna be buying those products. But I just don't understand why it's like, this specific fast food is so girly that you need to know without a single bit of doubt that it's girly. And also, boyfriends, you should buy this because it's just like, marketing as a whole is so weird. I don't know. This has been the episode of tangents, honestly. I've gone from tattoos to movies to my past of significance of tattoos, briefly touched on one of my special interests, and now here we are talking about marketing, advertisements, and gender roles. So, this has been fascinating. Alright, I've been playing this for a while. I know I'm not gonna get metaphysics or anything else on this, because they're all so expensive. And all my others, I need to let them have time to collect more. So, it's also very late, and I do have class, but I had a lot of fun with this. I'm gonna leave this episode here. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!